Hi, Peter back from Lightspeed Curations Art Gallery, continuing our coverage of the Women's Human Touch Art Show series. Last week we had some amazing women artists on, and we're going to continue that with today's episode, demonstrating all kinds of interesting mediums and art creation. The creativity level of this group is just 10 out of 10, and the energy is super high. I hope you enjoy this show. This is Peter from the third chair down here at Lightspeed Curations with Full Metal Liz.
Hello.
I love the name. I love the outfit. So you're an artist.
I am, yes.
Tell us about your genre, the mediums you use, themes. What's your thing?
So the mediums I use is anything I can get my hands on.
Good thought.
Anything from mini wax sculptures all the way to body paint, digital prints, digital graphic design, photo mashing, any of that. Traditional art, I do pen and inks. I prefer pen and inks. India ink, that kind of thing.
Wow. I don't know if you've ever participated in this. There was a time a number of years ago where they used to have something like Art Under the Bridge, where they'd have all these models that would come out in like body paint.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, some of the stuff.
So a lot of the body paint I did quite a few things at Voodoo Leatherworks. I did a lot of stuff at the Zodiac, when it was the Zodiac. And I just love to create. That's
your thing.
Like throw something at me. I do graffiti. I do all kinds of stuff. So
do you have a favorite that you lean towards?
Oh, my favorite right now is probably graffiti, just because it's so fun and you get dirty and you're so involved in it. But digital has been the most convenient.
Oh, sure.
Right now.
Yeah, you gotta keep up with technology, right?
Because graffiti, that's pricey.
Yeah.
To get the pigments you want and everything.
I've seen some amazing murals and stuff around town.
Yeah.
Where people have done the whole backside of a building.
Absolutely. There's so many amazing artists here in Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs is so underrated. As far as artistic.
I think the word's getting out slowly, but you see a show like tonight and the quality of the artwork on the walls.
I had no idea that this many people were going to show up. I was here last month, and we had a good show out, But I was like today, I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna go outside for a second. There's a lot of people here. This is awesome, but it's great. It's amazing that people are noticing and showing up for things. People are showing up for things, right?
People coming to support it and look at it.
Exactly.
And take it in. I really
exactly, and I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. I love every second that I'm in this gallery.
I love it. Full Metal Liz, I assume that on some level, some kind of metal music speaks to you.
Oh, all of it.
Do you have a few favorite bands?
Oh, gosh. Woo.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of great ones. But is there ones that you like in particular?
The Acacia Strain, I love. Also... That's such a hard question.
Yeah, I know.
That's such a hard question.
Yeah.
That's kind of not fair. That's like asking an artist what their favorite color is.
Yeah.
It depends on what I'm trying to work on.
Sure. I mean, I'm like a classic rock guy.
But Acacia Strain, I Killed Everyone. I know it sounds really vulgar and intense, but that band is wonderful. Terror has actually been one of my favorite bands since 6th or 7th grade. My dad went to those shows with me.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
When it was Indie Nation.
Oh, yeah.
And not the Black Sheep.
Not the Black Sheep.
Not the Dark Side. Not. I'm born and raised here in Colorado Springs, so I know all the phases, but...
do you find, if you're running low on creative energy, that music is one of the ways you raise your energy?
10,000% yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, I throw my headphones in, and I'm like, okay, family, goodbye.
Yeah. and they're probably
now
saying,
I am in my zone.
I'm in my zone, and thank goodness you got headphones on. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
for
Or
sure.
else I'd be listening to UFC fights.
You like watching UFC?
I do. Sometimes when
Yeah.
it's not like 12 hours a day in my face where I sleep.
Yeah, I enjoy watching that as well. That's, it's amazing to see. There's so many great things about it.
I mean, it's an art. It's an art in itself. You see the way people move, like, and that's. I mean, like I said, I do everything from tiny wax sculptures to body paint.
Was there ever a time you were like a dancer or?
I was a go-go dancer in 2007 to 2010, 11. I was a go-go dancer for like global, another rave that was called Halla Freakin' Ween, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was for a little bit.
I was really thinking, like, did you ever do ballet or ballroom
I did.
dancing?
I
and
did
that sort of
ballet when I was younger. From like 4 to 6, I did ballet, so I can still go on point. Not in these shoes, but I can still go on point. And my very, very, very best friend since I was 4 years old is actually a dance instructor up in Denver at Denver Samba, and then another dance studio. She actually teaches that. So we have fun. We have fun. I'm not great. She's great. And she tries to help me a lot.
Do you ever have any certain theme that you try to get through your art or message that you actually say, like, I'm trying to say this through this piece?
So I guess if there's an art show that they say this is the theme, I try to be catchy. I try to like mishmash the things that are silly but make sense if you think about it, know. But mostly I just try to let it speak for itself.
Sure.
Because I'm not very good with words. I stumble over myself continuously.
You're doing great.
So I've always communicated so much better through artwork and color and texture and line and all of that versus trying to even just, articulate words to people. So, yeah.
Well, we'll definitely put a few shots of your work up on the screen. And do you ever, the best way of asking it would be, have the equivalent of like writer's block?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah, no, it's awful. It's awful. And you sit there and you go, this piece of paper looks stupid, this pencil is stupid, this pen is stupid, this color sucks. Like, you blame it on all of the surrounding things. And then I just sit there and I go, you know what? Quit being a butthead. And just do something. So I just grab, I literally have gone like this and grabbed the first artistic, whether it's a brush, a pen, a pencil, whatever, grab it, and I go, with my eyes closed, I go, oh, well, that looks like this, and that, like, and then you just morph it into what you're trying to communicate with everyone else, or not communicate, and just make everyone confused, which is also very, very fun.
Well, yeah. I mean, one of the things that I don't like is I like to ask artists, like, what was the purpose of this piece? What were you trying to say? What message are you trying to...
Look at it.
Yeah.
Look at it. Yeah. What do you feel?
They'll
That's
throw
exactly
that back
what
at
I was
you.
trying to say.
Yeah, what do you feel? What does it mean to you? It's like I'm interested in what you were trying to do. Yeah.
Well, just this week I went to my storage unit and I actually lost all of my traditional artwork, non-digital. That's what I mean by that. From middle school, I turned 35 this year, and
35?
I lost all of it.
Oh, terribly you lost it.
Four portfolios about this wide of drawings, paintings, everything. And I mourned. I grieved. I felt like I lost a part of my soul.
Sure.
But honestly, yesterday I woke up and said, you know what? I didn't need those emotions anymore. I didn't need those feels anymore. And I'm growing and I'm getting I'm getting so much better than I could have ever thought I could have ever been, being stuck and bound by those. So, like, it was devastating, absolutely. I definitely felt like somebody cut my legs off. You know, it was awful.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
But at the same time, I was like, you know, the universe kind of knows what it's doing most of the time. So maybe I'll try to trust it, and I still came out with some really good pieces, and you know, some really good people locally offered to donate money to get art supplies back to me that I lost.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's why the art community is such a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. No matter how starving all of us are, if you need that 50 cents to go get that gallon of milk or, you know, anything, we always got each other.
I need to shop where you buy your milk because I paid $4.
Well, I'm saying if I'm short 50 cents.
Yeah, you know,
but no, I
I
get free eggs from my buddy that has a gajillion chickens that I will not go look at or touch because I'm terrified of birds.
Not a chicken project in your future.
Nope. Sure not. Sure not. My little brother already got like 2 roosters. I was like, who the f*** gets 2 roosters? They're gonna knock each other out. Like, you don't get 2 roosters and no chickens? Like, what is it?
Yeah, 1 rooster. Just an alpha rooster.
Yep. Not 2. You don't get 2.
So, do you do like commission work? Suppose someone's watching and they say,
oh yeah,
you know, I'd like some sort of project done
absolutely,
by you.
absolutely. I try to do a deposit now because I learned the very, very, very hard way that people are not nice, and they will.
You'll do a bunch of work and then
you
they don't pay.
Yeah, it'll be like 2-3 days worth of work on a logo, a menu, a whole new situation. I also do typography, so I also do like custom fonts and everything. I have over 4 years of calligraphy.
Nice.
And everything. So I do, and like I said, I also do graffiti. So I know all kinds of, you know, little.
So what's the best way to say for people to, number one, find out the range of kinds of things you can do, and also how to contact you?
So I would say right now my Facebook, because I am just getting my Instagram set back up since it got hacked.
Oh no.
But Facebook is the best one, and it's Elizabeth Juvera, Juvera. And just if you just send me a message and let me know what you want, I can get it going for you. But I am going to ask for a deposit and an email and a credit card.
Okay, well,
at this point, because I've been.
People, unfortunately,
thousands of hours have just been gone.
You know, and I think if someone's serious, you know, a modest deposit's not asking too much.
Right, right. And usually I ask for either like a 30% deposit or 50%, depending on what they want me to do. Sure. If I'm doing a logo, a menu, a t-shirt, everything, that's going to be like, you know, like a...
Do you have a website?
I do not right now. I am also working on that. I just got into my digital art realm in the last year and a half. So the last 6 months, I started getting confident. You know?
Yeah, sure. It's new stuff, but you have to keep up with the biz, so to speak.
Yep, exactly. So right now, I'm trying to get a new email, new Instagram, new Facebook to do all of the art things in one place.
That's good.
But right now, my regular Facebook is the best place to get me at.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for your time. You've been a wonderful guest.
Well,
pleasure to meet you.
You too. Thank you guys for coming here.
Well, we're back at the third chair. I'm Peter, and we're here with Matt Copeland. And she has put up some of her art tonight, and we'll flash some of it on the screen. Thanks for talking with us.
All right, thanks for having me.
Tell us about your art, your style, your genre, what you do.
Well, my dad is an artist, so he started teaching me how to do art from the time I could hold a pencil. But he is more of like a Western art, like realism artist. And I knew I wanted to do art, but I just didn't have the patience for the realism at the time. And so I started exploring like pottery, more like abstract acrylic. Like I even did some watercolor stuff.
Sure.
And then I found my passion through like wood burning, actually.
Wood burning?
Yes,
Wow.
I love wood burning. I didn't get to do a piece for that tonight, but I'm trying to more dabble into my acrylics and more pop art right now, just kind of exploring everything. So yeah.
Yeah, so I saw one piece of yours that looked like a body with fruit on it.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us about that, and was there a special message you're trying to convey, or was there a theme to that piece?
It was one of those things where whenever I was in college and I was getting my degree, my favorite class was life drawing.
Oh.
And for those who don't know life drawing, you have a live nude model come and you draw them live. And I loved that class because I finally was able to get my proportions right on the body, and then also experiment with like my own creativity of like, it's okay if some of my pieces the proportions are off because it's just my style. So I really missed that class, and when the pandemic hit, it was just one of those things where, and it was like awkward text to my friends like, do you have any nude that I can draw? And I just
like, say what, girlfriend?
Yeah, and I got a bunch of my friends sent me some, and so I was able to get back into that during the pandemic, surprisingly, and it just turned into this what it is, because I wanted to add some color, and I thought, what better color than fruit?
Do you do any cartooning, manga, anything like that?
I've wanted to dabble into it, but I'm not there yet. But I did draw like comic books and stuff when I was a kid. Like I love drawing comic books. So.
Yeah, one of our guests on the show is Art the Poet, who he does the Colorado Springs Poetry Slam, and he's created a number of comic books and graphic novels. Yeah, it was really interesting to talk to him. And do you still keep up with pottery or that sort of thing?
Not really. It was, if I didn't have the patience for realism at the time, then I for sure didn't have the patience for pottery. And also, to be fair, I didn't get to take the class with the wheel like in Ghost. So,
what is the education system coming to? Yeah.
Exactly. Like Patrick Swayze was nowhere to be found. So it was just disappointing.
Yeah, he might let you
he would be a ghost
draw nude. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, do you see yourself changing styles as you experiment with things, or you pretty much sort of found your niche?
I like to mix it up every once in a while, just because, I'm also a photographer, so...
Oh, that was a coming question, yeah.
Yeah. I do, like, sports photography and also wedding photography, and because I just can't decide. Like, people think it's a joke, but I said very early on, like, I found out I'm very bad at math, so I better dabble into everything else that I can dabble into. So,
you're a brave lady for tackling weddings.
Oh, yeah.
I've had more than one friends that the photographers totally screwed up the pictures.
I've heard that
videos.
A lot,
yeah. It's like, and that's the one thing I would not want to face as a mad bride.
This is why we don't
Right.
do weddings.
Yeah, we decided as a company, we don't do weddings.
That's probably a smart move.
Yeah, let the brave people like you do that.
Yeah.
Do you ever struggle with sort of the equivalent of writer's block when you're drawing?
Yes.
And how do you deal with that?
I'm a natural procrastinator, but with everything except my art. Yes, because I say it all the time, I need to have room to hate it. And it sounds negative, but, every artist knows that point in their painting or their drawing where they're like, I hate this all of a sudden, and I need time to put it down and come back to it. And so I've been working on these pieces for this specific show since I want to say the beginning of May. So because I just wanted to have time to hate it, and I even had an accident where our blinds like fell and went through a piece I'd been working on for weeks.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
It was devastating.
Were you able to fix it with Scotch tape?
I was not. So I had to have a breakdown for a week.
Oh, no.
So basically, I just allowed myself time to, not be so pressured creatively.
Do you ever find that you have times where you have sort of low creative energy, and how do you increase your creative energy?
Well, I work from home being a photographer. So the first thing I did was I set out 2 days a week for my art to force myself to do it because.
Oh, so you scheduled it in. You
Yes.
carved it out.
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah. And I have really good playlists. And I'm taking mushrooms a couple times. So
Even in the medical field, that's gaining some popularity.
Yeah.
For treatment of depression and other things.
Oh yeah.
As a matter of fact, I happen to be a physician as well. Don't hold that against me. But the evidence is better for mushrooms than it ever was for pot for being medicinal. So
Yes.
I'm not surprised about the mushrooms. Now I'm curious trying to pick your playlist because. All my idea of music for art is like Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
And half the guests I mention Pink Floyd to, they look at me like, Pink who?
Wow.
Yeah. And so it's like some of the younger ones,
Yeah.
And then
Did you hear about this new band, Pink Floyd?
Yeah, the new band, Pink Floyd.
And I'm like, you just picked up that shirt at Target.
And then they'll tell me, oh, I just went to the Incubus concert. And it's like, I'm sorry, I listened to Led Zeppelin. I don't know Incubus. What advice would you give to a young person who's thinking about wanting to go after being a full-time artist?
To just do it. It sounds so cliche, but for years I worked myself into the ground thinking that I have to do like 3 extra jobs to support my art. And, one day I was just like, well, I can't dedicate my time to my art career if I don't have the time. So I just kind of took the leap of faith one day. And like, I know not everybody's in that situation. Like, it was during the pandemic when my dad let me move back in and not have to pay rent. Mm-hmm. So I was able to do that and like faster than most people. But I still had to work. It's like I've been doing photography professionally since I was 15 years old. I'm 30 years old now. And I've been selling... Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And I've been working on my art, like I said, since I could hold a pencil. I've been doing art shows since high school.
Oh, really? That's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I've just dove right into all of the art. And, so my best advice would just be like, do it at all the time.
Are you pretty social media savvy in terms of using it to market? And
I'd like to think so, yeah.
Do you have like a web... like a store that sells prints or your favorite photos or
not yet, because printing, being in college, I got my photo degree, so I had to do darkroom and everything like that.
Oh my goodness.
I'm very familiar with all the chemicals and I didn't put this under there long enough and I got to burn the edges and things like that. Mm-hmm. So it was if I ever do printing, I want to make sure that it's done right and it's not done through like a company or something. I want to be able to print it myself.
Yeah, as opposed to say just sending it to Walmart.
Yes. Yeah. Nothing's uglier than like you turn the photo over and it just says like Walmart on the back. Like.
Well, I still like, they have some deals on food that I still like.
Oh, I love Walmart's food and everything. Their prints are just not great. Their prints are not great.
Do you, I may have asked you this already, do you have any software that you particularly use to assist you with your projects?
Not really my art, because I haven't done any digital art yet. For photography, of course, I use like Adobe products like Photoshop, but I haven't dabbled into any digital art yet because my dad is so old school, and I've also got into that old school mindset.
That's a real gift.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, taking pictures with film, where you're so careful about everything versus, hey, I got a digital iPhone, I can snap 800 in like less than 5 minutes.
Right.
A couple of them will come out.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think there's beauty in all of it. Like you can't just give anybody a digital camera either.
No,
it's very much like, and even one of my friends, she started her photography business with her iPhone, and people were able to give her a chance because she was good, and then she was able to work up and get a camera. So that's why I'm like, people look down on a lot of that stuff, but I also had to take an iPhone photography class to graduate. So.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, the modern technology is advancing. There are people that make full feature films on iPhones. The quality of the microphones and the iPhone and the camera is pretty good. You get near Hollywood quality. Not quite, but pretty darn good.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, and that's pretty amazing. I've done some voiceover work, and even what can be recorded now on an iPhone is, similar to the $500 microphones. Not quite there, but pretty darn close.
It's close.
Yeah.
It is close. Like I've shot a couple of like my own projects of documentaries, and whenever I forget my microphone, I use the voice memo on my iPhone, and it works just fine.
There you
Secrets.
go. Yeah. Secrets. Yeah. So, do you do commission work?
I do. Yes.
So say somebody was getting married and they wanted photos and maybe some video of the wedding. How would they contact you? What's the best way?
My best way is through my probably Instagram.
Probably Instagram?
Yes.
You check your DMs enough there?
All the time, yeah. Just because I've tried to reserve Facebook for more family stuff, and then Instagram is definitely more business.
I am so old school that it still freaks me out. Well, it freaks me out, one, that you can take a picture of your check and have it deposited in your bank.
That blows my mind.
That blows my mind. I just am so uncomfortable with that. But I have a number of people I know, artists and whatnot, that are in their 20s, where their primary way of communicating is direct messages on Instagram, know. And so it's like, wow.
Yeah, and it helps me separate from because I check I'm able to separate my real life from social media life, because at 5:00 I'm like, okay, well that's enough messaging, and then people who know me well enough have my phone number,
right?
And then I can,
Yeah, I've made the big leap to text messaging, but I tend to write texts that are too long.
It's okay. You get it. You get your point across.
Yeah, you do, but not everyone reads a long text, Mr. Producer.
Never.
He doesn't. I can send him a yeah. So it's like I end up having to make the phone call anyways.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for letting me be here.
Telling us about your artwork, and I saw a couple of your pieces here. How many do you have here tonight?
7. I have 7 pieces.
7. Wow. I'll need to make sure. I haven't seen them all, but I'll definitely hit that up.
All right. Well, thanks.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah,
it's been
thanks
a pleasure.
for letting me be here.
Yeah.
Cool.
Welcome to the Third Chair. I'm Peter, and we have special guest Sherrie LeMay Mitchell. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, you're an artist. We're here down at Lightspeed Curations. Do you have some pieces in the show tonight?
I do have several out in the main
Nice.
lobby area, down the black light, and in the back room.
So tell me about, what is your genre and the mediums you use? What kinds of things make you tick?
I can paint in any medium, so I'm a painter. But I tend to like oil and acrylic the most, and also traditional oil and water soluble is something I've been playing because of the solvents.
Wow. And is there any particular themes you focus on?
Probably landscapes, nature, people. I like living things.
Living things. Do you ever do
Yes.
like any big giant grizzly bears or?
That is on my plans.
Yeah, it's good.
Like
Yeah.
wildlife, I did have a wildlife series when I was younger. I
Uh-huh.
did a whole rainforest series.
Oh, wow.
So I would like to, I'm going to do another series of some kind.
Sure. That would be awesome. I know if I was going to have a commission work, I'd have it done of my dog Peach, who's a cross between a wiener dog and a Chihuahua. But I'd want him painted in a way that she looked ferocious like a wolf.
That would be cool.
That would never work.
Yeah, I know. I
I
constantly joke with my kids that Peach is half wolf and she's this gentle. She would kiss and attack her.
She does eat
something.
your wallet from time to time.
Oh, she did, and she's eaten 2 of my passports. So you'd mentioned in our pre-production talk that you'd gone to art school.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that experience.
Well, that was when I was very young, so I don't want to totally age myself, but it was a long time ago, and we had to do everything traditional. There was no computer art, so I've
Yeah.
always worked with my hands.
Sure.
And there was in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Wow.
So did some, I actually did. They had contests back then.
Hmm.
We used to paint at the beach and stuff like that.
Did you ever enter the contest?
Yeah, and I would win quite a few of them.
Nice. Do you, when you paint, do you have a particular message or feeling that you want the final piece to convey
I do.
as an objective?
Yes, I mean because I think it's a story that.
Yeah.
So the story sometimes will evolve as I'm painting, but I usually will have something that caught my eye at first, and then as I was seeing it, I start seeing it while I'm painting and making a story. It's like my own world. That's what it is. It's my own world.
Well,
And it's very relaxing, actually.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, because I ask this question a lot, and a lot of times the answer I get is like, well, what does the painting mean to you, or how do you feel? And it's like, I can appreciate and respect that as a question, but I'm also really interested in knowing sort of what your objective was. What were you trying to, if you're trying to make a statement?
Right.
Because we all have things we support or that we're passionate about.
Well, for example, I don't know if you saw the black and white piece I did. That was.
I don't think I've seen it yet.
It was from a speakeasy photo. The reference was, 3 years ago, March 2020, 1 week before COVID hit, and I took that photo. And when I looked at it, I realized everybody was touching each other. There was a lot of people were sitting on each other's laps, and then a week later, we went into like social distancing and the human touch. So, and that's one of the things it was kind of meaningful to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I took the photo, so I really saw it.
Did you feel that the COVID time with the lockdowns and did that affect your art and the kinds of things you were painting?
I can't think about that. I don't know. I mean, there was a time, yeah, probably. I think because just that it was a harder I mean, because I had to wear, I was an essential worker, so I had to work with a mask on and, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess you don't feel that. I think I did some of the flow pieces, though, like the ones you see in the black light. Like, I think I was flowing more. From my inside, what's coming inside, I never saw it anywhere. It's just totally in my head.
Sure. I know a few people we've interviewed talked about it actually was a time that that period of time created time for them to have more time for their art because they maybe weren't an essential worker and were at home.
Yeah, so I was still huffing. Because it was if you became an essential worker, you couldn't get unemployment. It's either you don't go to work or you don't get paid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do think it affected my art.
Sure.
And I even did some sketches with my concept of the mask. I actually created a halter top out of all my cloth masks.
Oh, wow.
The day we didn't have to wear them anymore, I
Nice.
created this like little clothing piece out of them.
Do you pursue other types of art such as writing or music?
When I was young, I played 3 instruments.
Oh, did you?
Flute, piano, and then a little later guitar.
I
But
could see as a lead electric guitar. Yeah.
but the thing
rocking with
is
Metallica, yeah.
you just can't do everything.
No, you can't.
And you have to, and then try. But I am the kind of, and I'll do like resin art or something. I'm the kind of person that thinks if I just go and learn how to do it, I can do it. Like, I mean, as far as art,
Sure.
like I could go take a class or like I want to make things out of metal or something.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm always
Well,
learning.
I bet you could do it.
Yeah, I believe it.
really-
Honestly, that's how I think. I really
Yeah.
believe I could do it.
Well, it's a good,
I've
it's a
never
good
tried
attitude,
it.
yeah.
I know there's Skillshare. There's all kinds of resources.
I did really well in school, except in artwork, in woodwork and metal shop. I barely.
Yeah, I may not do
escaped.
good, but I'm gonna. I'm just saying, I would at least put my hands on it and try it.
I remember we made this piece and you had to shave it a certain width, and they based your grade on how close you came. And so I was getting A's in math and science, and for the life of me, I was lucky to escape with a C. but some people got it, some people don't.
Yeah, that's the only class I didn't do good is with the ceramic with the wheel.
Oh, the pottery.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't do it.
Yeah. Do you ever struggle with sort of the painter's equivalent of writer's block, where it's like you get stuck and you just don't know where to go with the piece?
I don't believe I do. Because I just, okay, I mentioned also that I have an art group,
Right.
Colorado Art Trekkers. It's a meetup group, and I started in December, and it's grown to almost 400 people in this short a time. And it's all the local artists and art lovers too. But that has prompted me to paint and create more and just explore more.
Now,
like it's pushed me into
Is there
doing
any
more.
special requirement for joining that?
No.
Do you meet physically
Anybody.
in a location, like take over a
Yes.
restaurant?
I don't like to do any online stuff. It's all we do paint outs. First Friday event we had quite a few of our members show up, and a couple of us were in the show. We got invited by Jessica,
Nice.
and I've done some workshops here as well.
Oh, have you?
Yes, and it may not be something I'm an expert in. It's something that I've learned about that I believe I could share it, like an exploration.
Sure. Oh, sure. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
We're
why not?
exploring.
No, yeah, I mean, everyone can't be an expert on everything, so it's
No.
but if you know something, you can certainly share about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now sometimes, people might see this broadcast and be thinking, oh, I would like her to maybe do a commission piece.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do that? Do you take?
I mean, I
clients?
do work full time, but I would accept some commissions, yes. I could do portraits and probably, in fact, we have another mountain show coming up, or it'll be in December. So the landscapes, I mean,
May I ask what you do full time?
I'm a hearing aid lady.
A hearing aid
Lady.
Sweet.
I'm just kidding. I'm a hearing aid specialist.
All right, so you
Yeah,
help-
I test
you
hearing
fit,
and
test.
I fit hearing aids.
Nice.
And
That's an important job.
Yes, that's why I was an essential worker. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Because people
yeah.
needed to hear, and then they learned with the mask on that they could hear.
Yes, 'cause
It
they
brought
couldn't- they
that to their
couldn't-
attention.
They couldn't lip read.
They couldn't let her, and even though they were in denial, so we had quite a few people wanting help. But yeah, it made me feel good. It's a word, it's a good.
Oh, it's a worthwhile.
I feel good helping people hear better.
I have quite a few friends that are in their 70s and have gone through the hearing aids and cochlear implants. Yeah, it definitely makes your quality of life a lot better.
Yes.
Yeah, so if someone wanted to contact you about a commission piece, or at least talk about it, what would be the best way of doing that?
Well, I created a website called coloradoarttrekkers@gmail.com. Or they can join my meetup group, also called Colorado Art Trekkers.
Okay.
And we do have found that our group is supportive of artists and people who are having, it's almost like an art therapy. And we've created
Sure.
friendships, it's socio-creative circle,
Art is so powerful.
It's very
for-
healing.
Yeah.
And there's people who have, just like we were talking about the shutdowns and all that,
Mm-hmm.
there's people who are just now relearning how to socialize.
Yeah, kids were hit really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the schools, they're way behind. Not just in their learning, but their socializing, and
Yeah.
kids with learning disabilities that couldn't lip read. It was not good for them. Well, thank you so much for your time. You're an awesome guest.
Well, thank you. It was nice
It's
meeting
really
you.
nice meeting you too.
too.
And contact her. Send her a note if you'd like a piece of art made.
All right.
Hi, I'm Peter from Pikes Peak Recovery Coaching, and as you know, I do help people with drug and alcohol recovery issues. I love to help people get better, but I also offer a variety of other services, including regular life coaching services. I've helped several people write and finish a book. I've helped a doctor that was in medical school graduate and then get into a residency. And I also actually have quite a background in mathematics, and I do some math tutoring for the GED as well as the ASVAB for those that are thinking about a career in the military. So my contact information is on the screen. Please send me an email or a text, and we can talk about some of these services and how I can help. That's Peter Grigg at Pikes Peak Recovery Coaching. wow, yet another great sampling of talented women artists coming to you from Lightspeed Curations Art Gallery here in Colorado. We saw some amazing work tonight. We'll see some more in the future. Please like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell notification icon so you know when we upload a new video. Good night from the third chair.